Hello, hello, hello. I am Joel Walkowski, the professional gambler, and I am coming to you on the Props Network, giving my best bets for the day. It's good to be back. I did miss you guys yesterday. It was Valentine's. I was hanging out with my lady. I was doing a little schoolwork, and I was giving out a couple of bad picks to you guys. I will blame that on just random chance in the universe. Right before I taped the video, put down my picks, I walked to my videographer friend Joff's house and to pick up like a printout, and I walked past one of my celebrity top 5 cheat lists. And you know what? It being Valentine's Day, despite her being, a loophole, I'm talking about Emily Mead from The Deuce. I didn't say anything to Miss Mead. We both went on unencumbered, but seeing a woman of her beauty, I was a little flummoxed. So I'm going to blame the 0-3 on just being stung by Cupid's arrow. Is that fair? Is that okay? And your boy, Mr. Detroit Basketball, got himself a couple of new Valentines. I know I talk about these guys every show, but since we last went on, Saddiq Bey shows something new every single time out. I mean, his points over is still like 9.5 every night. We're pounding that in perpetuity until further notice. And just a little bit of fun before we get into this. I do talk about my past as a prankster on this show. I was responsible for the Derek Jeter sex change announcement by MLB. I snuck into Tayshaun Prince's wedding. So I've always been like kind of a wild guy pulling pranks on everybody. And your boy was had this weekend. Your boy was had pretty good. Sam, I'm sorry if I scarred your eyes if you saw my social media.
I saw it. I've got it. Should we share it with the people?
If you guys are cool, we can share it a little, so we could show what happened. A little backstory. A friend of mine, Ben Zarowski, he's the flippist. He does some amazing artwork. He's the world's best flip book maker. And back in January, he asked me to pose nude for an erotic Valentine's Day portrait class. Sam, that'd be a weird thing to ask, right?
That's not a normal thing to ask.
But here's the thing. You guys know I'm a little bit of a vain person, and I've got a history of performing in the buff. I've done nude comedy all over the country. I once performed in a naked roast battle for 2,000 people, so it's no big deal to me.
I'm guessing Tampa is the hotbed for nude comedy.
Yeah, Tampa. I mean, it's just comedy down in Tampa. How about that lady getting mad about Tom Brady throwing the trophy? Jeez Louise, what a world we live in.
Yeah. So okay, I'm going to do it. Are you ready?
We've lost viewers so quickly as I talk about this.
Here it comes.
Okay, right there. Boom. You see, I'm naked. I'm for a portrait class. And here's what they didn't tell me. The class was canceled last minute. They had my dumbass go on anyway. And I did a whole spiel. I wanted to do a little bit of a character. I talked about eating fruit in the farmers of America. And I shared genuine feelings about produce in this country. And it went on for 10 minutes. I'm talking about this stupid stuff. Finally, they go to show me the portraits at the end. It's my entire family. It's everyone I grew up with. They just made me look like a fool out there. And your boy was had. All right. My community got one over on me. It was hilarious. And it gave me a lot of catharsis, and luckily that's probably the most convenient way to let your family know that you're ripped. Like I can't send something to my mom.
They look impressed.
I mean, I'm being true to form. I'm eating a lot of plants. I'm drinking a lot of water. I know when the snow melts, I'm hitting the court better than ever. And what's up, Alexander? My Celtics fan hanging out here. Ooh, you guys have some trouble, huh? I'm getting a little worried about those guys. But today, let's talk about the NBA picks. I will recap tomorrow. I don't quite know my record. I think last couple of days have not been good. I'm sorry. But oh boy, no, those were grapes, John. Okay, this is obvious tonight, right? Who's playing? Houston Rockets, sans Oladipo are playing the Washington Wizards on a back-to-back here. Now, Houston's been playing terrible lately. Since we started praising him, they've lost 5 straight, and maybe that tells you a little bit about how good Christian Wood, the crucifix, actually is from a production standpoint. Now they're missing Oladipo too, but let's be real. There's one factor in this game. This is the John Wall revenge game. If you have a signature dance, if I've seen you jump on the scorer's table, I imagine you're going to be petty enough to ball out in this one. I love the Wizards here. I also love, this is a fun one. There's some juice on this. Sammy boy, you're going to love that I picked such a specific prop today. John Wall to score 30 points plus 175. No Oladipo. There's no crucifix. This entire offense is running through a pissed off, eager to disprove the management of the Washington Wizards, John Wall. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder, and that's what his dance is. He's just pointing to the chip on his shoulder. It's right there. I'm going to be really motivated tonight. I'm going to score 30 points and bet on it plus 175. This Wizards lineup looks awful. Garrison Matthews, Mo Wagner, those don't sound like NBA players. Those sounds like dudes our grandpas are friends with. If those are going up against DeMarcus Cousins, pardon me, but if the line is 2 points, I'm taking DeMarcus Cousins. So much motivation here. This lineup looks terrible for Washington. I've not seen such a thin lineup since, well, I guess any Pistons game before 2 weeks ago, before we became the team among teams. And I do want to shout out some Props Network other content. I know my man Donnie Sengstack was on Just for Sport with Jamoke Davis today talking about Champions League futures. And oh my gosh, those are the biggest 2 Washington homers in the world. That podcast had to feature the most unwanted talk about Washington, D.C., this side of your Thanksgiving dinner with your extended family. Yeah, it took me a while to get to that punchline, but that's always true for Donnie. So I am saying like and subscribe. I enjoy all of our stuff. Dexter and the boys do great work on Friday nights with the pick and props as well. And yeah, this has to be a John Wall revenge game, right? He's the pettiest guy in the league. This could be like a pretty like positive like breakup, like similar to what the Lions have done with Stafford, but no, they've made efforts on both sides to make this toxic, and them coming to town off a back-to-back. And Washington, they did look pretty good against Alexander's Celtics yesterday, and I was wrong on that too, but can you blame me for that? So yeah, Washington, Wall to get 30 points plus 175. Okay, let's talk about Heat Clippers. Heats. I was talking about grandpas, then I started talking like a grandpa. So let's bring up the line on the handy dandy Props Network line tool. So I will get real close because it's a little small for me. And we see that, okay, this opened at 5.5, and now it's like Heat -3. Obviously, there's some injury concerns for Los Angeles. Paul George is already out. I think Kawhi is going to be out on this one. They played yesterday. I saw his name on the injury report. Him and Embiid, it hasn't been clarified, but signs are pointing to both of them being out. And come on, Miami's been playing well. They lost to Utah, but everyone loses to Utah except for our next team. With tease in the next segment. But in this one, if there's no Paul George, if Kawhi Leonard is banged up, how many of the best 5 players in this game are on Miami? Is it 4? Is it 5? There is just such a disparity of depth and talent with those guys being out. And like, I don't know if you guys have, the Clippers have been awesome this year. I've had to reevaluate my opinion of Tyronn Lue and his role in the 2016 championship. But at this point, when there's been a little bit of like volatility with the roster and they don't have any of their go-to options, that's a little bit too much Reggie Jackson and Luke Kennard for me. And against a Miami team that's gritty, that you don't want to play on the second night of a back-to-back anyway, you got to go Miami here. Even if Kawhi was playing, I think I'd like Miami here. Like Miami, they have a lot more to play for at this point in the season than almost any other team. I think we really have to weigh those factors with Miami, and we have to weigh those factors with Toronto. Veteran teams, you know they're going to get a run together. So if you see them in a sort of pick 'em game like this, that they need so much more than their opponent, you gotta ride with them, right? Come on. Over the past year, Miami has been the most reliable team to bet on in the NBA. I love that squad. Yeah, they've got some Michigan connections. And yeah, Michigan is now the official NCAA team of the Miami Heat. So shouts to Juwan Howard. I'm glad I get a reason to root for them. Okay, our next two games. I think there's factors in it that kind of make it more interesting than there are injuries, but I think the injuries make the lineups we're going to see a little bit more intriguing. So let's talk about Philadelphia at Utah this year. This is probably the teams up to this point who have exceeded expectations the most. And Joel Embiid is on the injury report in this one. You see, it opened at Sixers plus 6.5, and it's steady there. It's plus 7.5 on DraftKings. I did just place this bet myself. I did get it plus 7.5. Signs are pointing to no Embiid, but you know what? That kind of makes me think that I'm still going to take the Sixers here. I know Utah is killing everyone. I know they have a ball movement that's kind of maybe sort of reminiscent of those great like mid 2010 Spurs teams. But here's the deal. I think there is a fatal flaw in their roster construction, and that is like lengthy forwards who handle the ball and can create their shot. Because like the good teams in this league, there's a lot of guys who are going to get their buckets. LeBron, Kawhi, Durant, and look at who's on Philadelphia. Ben Simmons, and also a rejuvenated Tobias Harris. I don't think there's anyone on Utah to guard either of these guys. And I know that Utah is the hottest team in the NBA, but if the Embiid line absence is being weighed in this line, I do not see the absence of Mike Conley being weighed in this line whatsoever. Conley, there's debate as to whether or not he's been the best player on the Jazz this year. So I love the Sixers here. It doesn't have any like logic to it, but I do have a hunch that Utah has no one to guard these dudes. If your chances of winning a championship would be increased by Stanley Johnson's presence on the roster, I'm going to go the other way when Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris are in town. Man, do you think Tobias Harris is going to pull Mike Conley aside and be like, hey, you know, I see the career you're having, and maybe you can give me advice. You know, I want to follow your footsteps and become the next worst player, the next best player to never make an all-star game. That is Tobias's future. Unfortunately, he's not getting any of the credit he deserves this year, but he's showing out tonight. Yeah, I mean, you can disagree with that pick, and like it is kind of foolish to go against Utah right now, but look, I'm betting these games looking forward to the season, and I really think they have something they need to address in their roster. And I think that a team like Philly with two options that are built for it are sort of a good chance for me to test that hypothesis. And you know, it's Monday night. You know, my fiance's having people over to watch The Bachelor, but that's why I got the monitor. I will have Sixers Jazz on the second screen experience because, you know, Bachelor's like the fifth major sport. Me and the fellas, we come out. There's a little action on there. So we found a way to have fun with it. And yeah, I feel good about my picks in that one. I know Rachel is a good one to go with tonight. And okay, so similar, I'll move on. I could talk that if you want, but I don't think those are my viewers right now. So similar to how Embiid's absence will kind of make Philadelphia play a style that Utah will have trouble handling, I kind of think the matchup between Sacramento and Brooklyn is made, you know, a little bit equal because of Durant's absence. I just want Kevin Durant to be happy. He's had the year from hell so far. You get COVID scares, you get an injury, and isn't it in the Achilles? I mean, just the fact that it's an Achilles to begin with, that gives me pause. So right here, we see the Nets. I mean, that was a trouncing on Saturday night. They totally made a statement against the Warriors. And you see their 4-point favorites against the Kings, and the Kings, it's been a sucker bet to go against them many times this year. And this is probably a pick 'em for me, but I am going to ride with Brooklyn here. And I see there's a pretty insane over under on this one. So I might take Brooklyn money line, tie it to the under, and that'll be a fun play for me to do. If, it's still actionable, I might just want to ride it out with the, Houston and Washington. That's my first priority. Then it's Sixers, Jazz. But right here, you see 243 is the over under. Now, the last time the Nets had a figure like this, they kind of obliterated it. That was that Washington game that they blew in the last seconds. It was a bad beat for many people a few weeks ago. But, I think Brooklyn, if they're playing through Harden, if they're playing through Kyrie, this lineup hasn't really worked when it's been trotted out so far, but it is starting to get a lot of experience. And I think there will be a little bit more cohesion. And you know what? It's not like the Kings have the big men who are really going to exploit them. And it's going to be so fun to watch all these guards go at each other. You're going to see a ton of Harden. You're going to see a ton of Kyrie. And it's going to be really fascinating because the Kings, they can match those guards every step of the way. De'Aaron Fox has been on the injury report, though. That's why I'm siding with Golden State in this one. I know he's a great player. I know he's actually justifying that contract and is probably an all-star this season, at least according to the funniest thing in the world, Magic Johnson's Twitter account, Sacramento. Did I say something that wasn't Sacramento? What did I say, Sam? Oh, Golden State. Well, real talk, I just read a book on the Golden State Killer, and he was in Sacramento. So there we go. Hey, Alexander, if you put in that parlay of Kings +4 and the over, I've been terrible with everything associated with the Kings this year. So good luck to you. And that's on me because I was a Kings rider for the past 2 seasons. And this year I couldn't do it. And this is the payoff. This is the year they're being spry and competitive, and they're playing such a wonderful brand of basketball. So yeah, do that. And oh, wow. Buddy Hield over 17.5. I like that a lot, especially with him probably getting more opportunities to have the ball in his hands with a slightly banged up De'Aaron Fox. And yeah, that's probably my favorite one on the sheet. I know Tyrese Halliburton is awesome, but isn't his job made so much easier by playing with De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield? If you were a young tweener guard and you wanted to pick 2 guys to play in between, wouldn't it be a really athletic, kind of traditional floor general with great intangibles? That's De'Aaron Fox, and a sniper from 3. That's Buddy Hield. So yeah, I think he's in a perfect position to succeed. I wish their bigs could catch up in the development. I'm still holding on to my Bagley stock, but yeah, I love the Hield over here. Let's look at these rebound numbers, Sam, because we see that crazy over under, right? If the over under, here's one thing that let's really start looking at. We have a hunch here on the behalf of the professional gambler. I don't think rebound prop bets go up with a huge over under like this. So now, I do feel like if you see a game like this and the over under is in the 240s, maybe you can just go to the small forwards rebounds over, because if there's a lot of threes, there's going to be longer rebounds. So right here, scroll down, Sammy. Yeah, so I kind of like that Harrison Barnes over rebounds. Joe Harris over 3.5 rebounds all freaking day. Jeff Green over 4.5. I love I think there's going to be, with a huge over there, and hopefully Alexander's bet hits, there's going to be more rebounds. So I see a ton of values in these lines. Tell me if I'm wrong, if you think I'm wrong here, but could we be onto something? Let's follow this the next couple days. I'll be on Tuesday, Wednesday for sure. Got a couple scheduled complications to iron out, but I'm riding with you guys. And Alexander, you're absolutely right. Halliburton is in a great spot for sure. His 3-point shooting and the way he kind of baits other teams into turnovers has been super impressive. And he's all rookie team, first team right now, along with LaMelo, Wiseman, Edwards, and Sadiq Bey. And I'll admit, I'm a little butthurt because there was a Tyrese Halliburton and Killian Hayes debate. I still love Killian Hayes. We haven't been able to see him this year, but seeing how Troy Weaver hit the jackpots on his other picks, I'm gonna still think that Killian will be the better player long term. I know that's a bold take right now because he is balling the hell out, but I got to point out the variables that make it easy for him because I'm the Scrooge of the hardwood, my friends. Okay, so those are my picks tonight. I'm riding with Houston. I'm riding with John Wall to score 30 points. I'm riding with the Heat. I might double down on that Heat. I like the Sixers plus 7.5. And I think the Sixers-Utah game will tell us the most about the rest of the season moving forward. So it's a real good opportunity for the serious NBA handicapper to learn because, I think there's going to be a good opportunity to short Utah in the postseason. And of course, the pros big pick tonight is Houston. No brainer. Joel Walkowski is rolling with John Wall. I mean, we have practically the same name. We're practically the same person. Let's just combine our bank accounts. Okay. And then I will also be riding with the Sixers as part of a larger hypothesis. And then I'll be part of the Nets because I'm a dang Nets fan. Oh, Fox and Irving to both score 30. That seems like a fun monkey knife fight bet, right? I do love monkey knife fight. Okay, Fox and Irving to both score 30. I don't know. Not with Fox because is it a back-to-back for Sacramento? I think it's a back-to-back. And then he's just been on the injury report. If a guy's been on the injury report and you see him to score over 30, I don't know if that's a bet I would necessarily go with. And it's not like he shoots an abundance of threes. So I think I would stay away from that. I do like Kyrie because Kyrie was kind of quiet on the last game. Like I expected more of him. I know some of the viewers did as well. And man, I hate Googling stuff. Yeah, of course the Kings played yesterday. There was that amazing experience where just everyone was dunking and then wrapping their legs around the opponent's neck like it's Rey Mysterio pulling off a Hurricane Rana. And should you parlay that with anything, John? Should you parlay Sixers plus 7.5? Come on, you're a Philly boy, right? I think John's a Philly boy. I think we've had past conversations and it might indicate it. So when you're doing that, when you're backing an underdog, I would do 1 unit on Philly plus 7.5, and then I'd put like 25% of a unit on the money line. Maybe I'm just the biggest Sixers homer in the world. Maybe this is just me wanting to have a little bit of juice in what is like a hipster's NBA Finals preview. So yeah, sprinkle a little bit on that money line. That's what the free plays in your accounts are for. Betting on your squad to take a toughie on the road. There's no Mike Conley. You can sick the bull on Donovan Mitchell, and then Rudy Gobert will have a bunch of stupid lobs. Oh, a little bit on Fox and Irving, both scoring 30 plus 450 on BetMGM, official sports book of the Detroit Lions. Hey, why not? It's gonna be freewheeling and crazy. And if you're going anti-me on the Kings and the over, just stick your feet in. We'll go against each other. I know you'll be back, and hey, I will be happy to see you win. If you're having a parlay that hits, that means more than my straight up. So I'll root for you to bring home a big bankroll and embarrass the pro gambler on that one. That's what I'm doing for you, Alexander. All right. Houston spread just dropped a 0.5 point. Let's go. And Houston all over it. So I will hang out any other additional questions, comments, concerns. I really want to see Boston trade for somebody. I really want to see Milwaukee have a different primary ball handler near the end of crunch time. And I want to see more people make the Magic Johnson, LeBron James comparison. That's my dream for the world. We talk MJ versus LeBron. It just feels like you're comparing resumes. And really, real basketball heads, they know this game is an evolution. They know these players are artists, and anyone who's seen both, they could tell you that LeBron and Magic, they were just blessed with the same gifts. It's been awesome to see him just stay relevant for so long. And you know what? It's been awesome to use him as an impetus to go watch tons of old tape from the 80s. I love watching 80s basketball, probably because the Pistons win. But encourage you to check out some old Magic. I don't think the youngins are giving him his appropriate due. So we got 2 hours to kill before game time. And go on, pull up some 80s clips. I love the 1984 All-Star game. Jeff Ruland balls the hell out. So, yeah, if you get bored of the Props Network, which you won't, because we are the best in the business at doing this, check out Jamoke. Check out the prop picks and props. Check out all of our great content and our amazing line analysis tools. They're a wonderful thing to have in your arsenal as an informed gambler. So, odds, short shorts come back. Hey, that's just a matter of me hitting the court next, you know? I got a pair of John Stocktons in the beginning of quarantine, waiting to bust it out again, and it's coming soon to a court near you. Polish Moses wearing the same gear that Moses Malone wore. Hello, Agnes. Is that my grandmother? I did talk about my grandpa's friends, so now we have my grandpa's girlfriends. Oh, yeah, that's me to a T. Well, Grandma, watch on YouTube if you can hear me from beyond the grave. I do want to see where this Agnes thing is going, though. What's Agnes want from me? Is Agnes flirting? Everyone knows the most beautiful women in the world. They're always named Agnes. Waiting on bated breath, Agnes. I'll give you 10 more seconds, then I'm out of here, Agnes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, just in time. I heard this name in a cartoon. What? This is nonsensical. We cannot indulge. What name is this? Minion stuff? This is not something for me to indulge. The only minions that exist are the people who follow my picks, who follow these bets and go against me, like my boy Alexander. I'm not going to talk about minions here. Get out of here. We got hoops to analyze. So, for the Props Network, for Sam Kotler, I shouldn't say his real name. This is Joel Wachowski walking off.